I am really, really excited to have everybody here tonight. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody that are joining us on our Zoom meeting. Welcome, everyone who are joining us on Facebook Live. Really excited you are all here. As you know, this is our Sunday Goal Mastery Mastermind meeting. Lots of M's in there. We like those M's. Like you being part of it. This is brought to you by my little company, Integrative Wellness and Development, LLC. And as always, the purpose of tonight is for education, entertainment, to get you thinking, to get you growing. We do this, we have a live every other week, a live mastermind, and we have a recorded playback of a past important episode. We do that as well. And this is not, as always, this is education, inspiration, perspiration, but not to diagnose, to treat, to prevent any type of illness or imbalance. If you have a challenge of any kind, you should be consulting your physician or health practitioner. We are simply here to educate. But by now, those of you who've been with us for a while, you know the drill. For those who are joining us tonight or who will watch this on Facebook at another time, welcome. I'm really excited about tonight's topic. I am going to bring that up in just a sec. People keep asking me, where do you find these weird, crazy topics? And the truth of the matter is, they come from contemplation, they come from dreams, or right when I am getting started to take care of things on Sunday and get the ball rolling in the morning, it comes to me that, you know what, this should be the thing that we are talking about tonight. And because I've learned to listen, I listen, and that is why we get these things that we get, because that's what I've been receiving. And that's really how we should all be approaching, working with our lives is, what are we getting inwardly, and how do we take action on that? And I am going to look to find this in our screen share, and we found it, and I'm going to move little things around so I can see what's going on, and then press the magic buttons, and we press the magic button, and now we have a full screen. Here we go. So we are ready to rock and roll. As you can tell, this is live. This is not pre-recorded yet, so lots of things are happening here, but most importantly, you're here. I'm here, and here is the topic. So, another interesting title, How to Create a New Future by Exploring Different Dimensional Versions of Ourselves. And I can see on many people's faces, what? What is he talking about? Well, the truth of the matter is, and this part of the reason I came on this topic was for the last month or so, I've been having a lot of dreams and a lot of situations where I will be back in the past in certain phases of my life. And I'll start having dreams about still being there, but it has carried forward. So I'm looking at situations that began and ended in reality in this dimension. But as I moved into those other dimensions during contemplation, meditation, or dreams, it was still going on. I was still taking an active part in those dimensional realities, but they were very, very different.
No one can see the screen.
Oh, okay. I'm going to fix this. We apparently have a problem where you are not seeing the screen. And let me see why. Just a second as we deal with technical difficulties here. But I'll keep talking while I fix this technical difficulty here. I found that I was still in that reality, even though I'm living now in a different reality. And I began to pay attention to how they started to play through, how these realities start to play through. Okay, our technical difficulty is solved. We pressed all the wonderful buttons, and now here we are. So the point about tonight is when we are looking to make decisions about how to change our present, one of the things we can do is we can look towards how to move into exploring different dimensions of reality for ourselves. And in exploring those different dimensions of reality, we can gain insight and information. And here's kind of how it goes. So if we remember our discussions about the quantum field, right? In our discussions about the quantum field, what we begin to realize is there are many, many, many dimensions occurring simultaneously in the world, the universal field or the quantum field. So you can see here right now, we are joined together in this dimension, in this version of reality. We're all together on this same version of reality in this dimension, and we are having this experience together, right? And we're having this experience together, but there are multitudes of other optional realities going on here, okay? So when it comes time to make a decision about, I want to change something in 2023. I want to change my life. I want to change my personality. I want to change my job. I want to change my reality, but I don't know quite what to do. One of the options that we have is to look into some of our other realities in other dimensions and be able to experience options and gain information to help us make decisions. So what I'm going to ask you to do in this exercise, and what I'm going to ask you to do at home, is to just for a moment accept the premise that right now on a multitude of dimensions in the field, there are a multitude of various versions of you. And then what we want to do is we want to focus in and pick 3 options to answer a question or give us guidance about a change we want to make, okay? So let's say we want to make a change. We want to gather information about what the right change is, what the right choice is, what the right decision is, right? Now, we can go and look up 100 places on YouTube. We can go ask 100 people, and that's all very good. Those are good options. But another option is to go and look at optional versions of yourself and see how would that play out? How would this decision play out with this option of you from another dimension? How would the reality play out? Okay. And I had a perfect example in this series of dreams where there was a job that after a few years, I realized it was not the right fit for me. And it was time for me to leave. And I made that decision after accomplishing quite a few really important things. But it was time for me to go in this dimension, right? In this version of my reality. So the question would have been, should I have stayed in that position or should I have changed? And as I've had a series of, contemplation, meditation, and dreams, I watched how the reality played out by me staying there. And there were certain realities where I was able to stay a little bit longer. I was able to make certain changes that made things better. But in the end, the choice kept coming back to, you really need to leave this experience, move on to another one. So if my question tonight was, should I be changing? Should I be starting a different business? Should I be retiring completely? Should I run away and join the circus? What option should I choose for 2023? Or, stay with what I'm doing and make it better and help more people, right? Those are all options. So what we do then is we focus in on 3 versions of ourselves. And each version of ourselves is going to play out a different future for that option, right? Just thumb up. Do you understand where I'm going with this? Right. So we're gathering evidence from 3 different sources. They all just happen to be versions of ourselves. Okay. And they're from different dimensions in the quantum field. So you could visualize yourself standing in front of 10 different versions of yourself, and you pick out 3. And you bring them in a room, you sit each of them down in a chair, or you sit them down in your boardroom or temple or studio. For those of you who've been with me for the last few years, you know how we work with the boardroom. So we're going to work with each of these different versions to gain evidence about what decision we should make. Okay? So we're all clear on that. Let's move to the next phase. Okay. So we look at option 1 and we gather the information we gain from option 1. And then we look at what would year 1 be like if we chose option 1? What would year 2 be like if we chose option 1? Year 3, year 4, year 5. Okay. So this gives us a good long-term picture of what things would look like if we chose this particular option. And let's say for me, that option was staying with that job or staying with what I'm doing right now. Okay. So give you a second to kind of write some notes down. Remembering you're going to be able to refer to this. This will be live. This will be running on Facebook Live. But think about, here's a version of you that represents a particular optional choice. And you're going to just take a look at, wow, what would year 1 be? And just, kind of talk with option number 1, that version of you, and say, hey, what did we accomplish in year 1? What happened in year 2? What happened in year 3? Year 4, year 5, and then you can look at this, right? You can look at this objectively and determine, is this a good option or not? Well, it's got some pluses and minuses. When we're done with looking at option 1, the way we're going to deal with option number 2 is, what if option number 1 died or didn't exist or disappeared or ran away, right? So what if this version of you, which was a pretty good version, but what happens if this is no longer an option anymore, right? Option number 2, so nothing here that you saw is going to be available to happen. So this is all going to be a completely different set, right, of results. So you want to look at option number 2 and talk with option number 2 and say, all right, so what are the pluses and minuses of this? But it can't be anything that was in option number 1. I can't choose option number 1 anymore. So help me make a choice that you're the better choice. And you gather the evidence and you look at what happened in year 1, what happened in year 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Right? I'll give you a moment to take some notes. Think about that for yourself. And then we're going to move on to option number 3. Just jot down a few notes, and then we're gonna go in more deeply to filling in these blanks together as sort of a group exercise. So, this could be kind of like a beauty pageant. This is runner-up number 2, this is runner-up number 1, and this is the winner. But then what happens if the winner is disqualified? Well, runner-up number 1 becomes the optimal choice, and now we're working with option number 2, and we're trying to get the evidence about why is this the best option? Okay. Thumbs up if you get the, does someone have a question? Trace, do you have a question?
Yeah, my question is, if this is supposed to be a version of ourselves rather than things we want to achieve, can you give an example of yourself as option 1? Because I'm only thinking of the things I want to improve upon and option 1 to make myself a better giver. So
Okay.
and I don't think that's the goal here. Thank you.
No, well, if that is your goal, right? If your goal is what can I do? What can I find? What changes do I need to make in order to make that goal a reality? Then you would choose these options and explore, right, what it would be like. Here is it, choose a version of yourself to mentor you into achieving the goal that you're looking to achieve, right? So, I mean, we could all just say, all right, we're going to go into the future. We're going to choose a version of us who's doing this successfully, and we're just going to interview them and mentor with them and hang with them. And that's the first part of the exercise. But then we want to gain additional evidence, right? When you do an experiment, you don't have just one choice, right? You have a couple of options to prove the hypothesis. So we start out with experiencing this first option of you. And it looks like it's the one that you had the goal. It's the one that's living that perfectly. It's the one that's successful and it's doing all the right things. What's it like being that person? What are the things they're doing in year 1? What are the challenges that they have in year 1 or year 2? How do they overcome those challenges, right? You want to explore that with that version of yourself. Then I want to give you additional options to get additional information, evidence, and choices, right? Because this is the ideal, right? This is, hey, I'm crushing it. I'm crushing exactly what I wanted. But what if the choices weren't available that I've chosen to do based on this option, this version of myself? What if that wasn't available to me, right? So just like if my goal was to be successful in a job and I can no longer have this job, right? Then what are my other options other than staying in this job, taking courses, getting a mentor, a coach, studying, right? Those are all ways of if the choice was to stay where you are, but what if that was no longer an option? So there is a version of you that has followed a different option. And this option number one doesn't exist for it. In version number two of you, it's doing something different. What is it doing different that you can learn from and you can gain experience and advice and guidance from? And then how would that decision play out in year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5? Okay. We're just looking at these. We're gathering up evidence. We are not committing to one of these options yet. We're just gathering evidence about what if, right? Yeah, I did this back when I was in my first year of university. I had an option to stay there at that school or come back to my parents' home and go to school there, which would have been a lot less expensive, a lot easier. I had a scholarship in that state, or I had an option to move to India and live on an ashram and go to university for free across the street from the ashram. And there are all kinds of options there, right? But I was following inwardly, I was following a plan and a set of experiences that were telling me that staying where I was the best option. But I had to go forward into the future and look at what would it be like choosing this one, right? And really looking and putting myself in that place, waking up. What would the day be like when I wake up? What's it like? What's it like when I'm trying to do the work? What's it like when I'm hanging with people that live in that dimension, in that option? What are the pros and cons? Who are the folks who are going to be positive? Who are going to be negative, right? What relationships do I choose? They'll be different from the first option because this might be geographically different. It might be, dimensionally different. It might be all kinds of different. So Tracy, do you see where I'm getting with this? Each of these options is a different version of reality. And you get to test out your goal. You get to test out your choices in these different realities because we all have a multitude of realities in different dimensions within the field that are living and expressing every single optional of choice there is. Every single possible version of you is happening right now, simultaneously, right? And what we're trying to do is we're trying to pick a couple of them to gather evidence about what it would be like to adopt this reality by making this choice. Okay, thumbs up or thumbs down? People understand what we're doing here? Yep. So far, so good. All right, I'm going to move on to then option number 3. So the conditions around option number 3 are different. Okay, option number 1 was just, pick one and just play through what the ideal, your ideal, right, fantasy about what would be the best thing, and you test it out. Option number 2 is, well, what if option number 1 wasn't an option? What else could we do that might work? Now, option number 3 is, all right, let's get crazy here. let's get crazy. Let's put away our ego. Let's put away our self-judgment. What if money or our reputation or our self-image was not a factor? Right? What if we weren't worried about money? We had all the money we needed to make this option happen. What if we weren't worrying about what would people think if I did this and I changed, or I did this and I failed? Right? If we let go of that, and option number 3 is flying our freak flag, right? Really getting crazy here and saying, what if I had complete and total freedom to go absolutely nuts and make a choice that was wild, right? But still focused on the goal, right? But just a wild, crazy option, you know? What would year 1 be like? What would year 2 be like? What would year 3, year 4, year 5? Just take a moment and look at that now. Crazy option number 3. Wild, free option number 3. Money's not a restriction. Self-image, ego is not a restriction. You know, what are the neighbors going to think? What are the relatives going to think? None of that is a concern. What would it be like? Okay, I see people really actively thinking and writing. That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it when I can stimulate your imagination and get you thinking about alternatives, thinking outside the box, and also realizing and experiencing the fact that each of us is an incredibly unlimited, an incredibly vast source of experience, knowledge, wisdom, talent, creativity, and that we are never stuck in any situation. There are lots and lots of options because we are living in alternate realities where those options are the reality. They're the norm, right? So sometimes this will help us fight that block, that self-judgment that, oh, that's not me. I could never do that. I could never have that creativity. I could never have that kind of courage to go out there and do this, right? Or I don't have that experience, or all of the reasons to not do something that is really a good thing for us to do, a positive thing for us to do, a constructive things for us to do. But sometimes we don't do those things because we're judging them because they're not comfortable and they're not part of our everyday experience. But accepting the fact that there is a version of us where not only that's part of our everyday experience, but we crush it every day. We are just nailing it every day. This is such a part of us in that version of ourselves. Well, why not develop a conscious relationship with that version of yourself? By starting out with an exercise like this, inviting that version that you choose into your boardroom, your workshop, invite them into your dreams and dream with them. Go and visit their reality, right? Have one of those, like Airbnb swaps where you go and you live in their reality and they come and live in your reality. Just warn your husband or wife or significant other that something's going on here. So anyway, I think you're getting the gist of what I'm talking about here. Yes or yes? Good. All right, so we've been really stretching our boundaries of what are our limitations and what aren't. We've been stretching our imagination about what is possible. And we've been stretching our creativity to recognize we have limitless capability to create new realities for ourselves by stretching our imagination and looking at and accepting the fact that there are versions of ourselves that are already doing the thing that we are contemplating doing as a goal. And we want to tap that wisdom. We want to tap that information. We want to tap that state of consciousness of being comfortable and successful in doing that version, being that version. Okay? So now, once you've gathered all this information, right? You've interviewed that version of you that's come from the field, and you've been looking at, wow, what's year one going to be like? Year 2, 3, 4, 5. You've gathered some great information. You've had a lot of clarity, right? Written all of this stuff down in your journals. You've been dreaming about it. You've been recording that in your dream journal portion of our Daily Goal Mastery Journal. And now it's time to make a decision on which of these options should I try first, right? And in any kind of decision-making, besides using our decision-making wheel, you remember that wheel we had, right? Choice A, what are the pluses, what are the minuses? Choice B, what are the pluses, the minuses? And then or choice C, what are the pluses and minuses? And then you add up the points and you make a decision. Well, this is kind of a version of that. So we're going to go through a series of steps. You're going to look at the information and create a list of conclusions based on those 3 versions of yourself, the information you've gathered, the experiences you've had, examining and experiencing the different versions of reality in each of those versions of you. You gather that up and you create a list of conclusions, right? This would be the result of this choice. These would be the result of that choice. These would be the results of this choice. Here are the pluses. Here are the minuses, right? And then you begin to narrow down your options based on which has more pluses, which has less minuses. Scorecard. And then you make a choice. of which you're going to try. And remember that every choice, every experience, as well as everything in our lives are temporary. So we can make a choice and we can follow through with it, and we could go and examine it and experience it and see what happens. But we make the choice without the fear that, oh man, what if I messed up? Oh, what if I screwed up here and then, my life's going to be ruined and, it's all over. No, 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 no. Whatever choice you make, you're going to have experiences you're going to learn from, you're going to grow from, and it will be valuable experience for you to either continue and fuel the experience that you're having, or to make a choice to go in another direction. And this will support making that choice to go that other direction. So when it comes time, make a choice. Do not get stuck in analysis paralysis, right? Don't beat yourself up saying, what if I make the wrong choice? Make a choice. The right choice is make a choice, right? As Yogi Berra said, when you get to the fork in the road, take it, right? That meant when you're faced with two choices, choose something. Don't paralyze yourself with analysis paralysis. And then most importantly, the fourth step of this whole exercise is, once you've committed to the choice, commit to it, let go of all the other choices for now, and move on and live life. Experience the experiences, experience the growth, gather your information, and move on. Get going with the living and let go of the analysis. Because while you're getting going with the living, you're going to learn more. Certain things are going to come clear to you. You're going to realize, certain choices are great and still are on track. Year 1, year 2, year 3, and certain choices after year 1 stop being valuable and valid, and we needed to change them. And that's okay. We might find a year into it that, this choice really is not working out, and I've tried everything possible to make it work out. The best option for me is go find another option, right? And we'll know the difference between doing that when the time is right and the evidence is clear, and then not being the person who, as soon as things get difficult, we just give up and say, oh, that wasn't the right choice anyway. We want to be somewhere in the middle there, right? We don't want to avoid the experiences, the challenges, the trials, the tribulations, because on the other side of them is our goal fulfilled many times. On the other side of our greatest challenges is our greatest growth. So you gather the information, experience what the reality would be like in these different choices, then begin to narrow down the options, right? Make it really simple and clear. Get it down to 3 clear options. Then choose one of them, commit to it, then let go of all the other ones and move on, right? How we doing? We good? Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, I'm going to stop screen share and let's have some question and answer and some discussion about this. Any questions? Tracy had a great question in the beginning. Has it become clear what I'm getting at with this? Sometimes it's difficult when, I've been having the experience and I'm trying to translate it into, well, what are the components of it? Where's the lesson here? And how do I transmit that? Sometimes, it's clear in my head because I've experienced it, but sometimes it's challenging for me to communicate that to you. So I did my best, and I hope that, the pictures and the explanations helped you. Okay, Carol Lidstone has a question. Carol, you are in the spotlight.
Okay, well, this is what I did. It's not really right how you explained it, but option 1 is my situation now.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at how will this situation be in a year, and I put the so-called negatives and the positives of the situation. That's what I did for option 1. Then for option 2, I went to my dream or my goal. And I also put the positives and the negatives. And then for option 3 was kind of crazy. I went crazy with it, but because of, anyways, I don't have to get into that, but that's how I did it. So, and it's working for me, but I don't know if anybody else did it that way.
Yeah, did you gain insight that you didn't have before?
Yes, I did. Thank you very much.
And, you have the opportunity, and I encourage you to do this, and that is take the time over the next week, month, year to really build a relationship with that version of you. Hang out with it, have tea with it, have dinner with it, interview it, and get to know it and get to become really, really clear and comfortable with what reality is like for them, that version of you. Because you may find that in living in that reality and, living in each of their realities, you will find the one that you really are congruent with, that you really harmonize with, you really connect with. And then you just need to accept that that is your reality and be grateful for that reality and bring that to birth here in this reality. Make that reality then this reality that you're in right now. Because we are moving in and out of these realities. They are all occurring simultaneously. And this is something quantum physics is proving. A lot of mystical and spiritual paths for centuries have taught this, but science is now proving that the same particle exists on a number of different dimensions at the same time in the same place, right? So we exist simultaneously, and we can accept that reality and make it accept the reality, adopt it, and make it real here. And I'm seeing evidence of this more and more and more in my life, and also in the lives of the people who I coach, that as they begin to let go of the illusions of limitation of this is who I am, this is my life, it's not going to change, I'm not going to change, it's not going to, no, you have limitless options that you're already mastering. Just tune into them, learn from them, choose one of them, and make it the reality. Jojo, you have the golden hand up for a golden soul. What say ye?
No, I was thinking about, it's not a question, but my takeaway from the exercise.
Yeah, let me have your takeaway.
It's just that I love the idea of the creativity of not just, it's like picking an option and seeing unlimited possibilities. And then I love that you said for us to interact with them, go have tea. I know you told Carol, go have tea and dream about it. It's not something I ever thought of doing, even though I consider myself very creative. But it would be nice. I think it would be really cool to focus on the goal I picked and then see all these 3 options, pluses and minuses for each one, and go wild with one of them, like the one that is like, okay, if money's not an option, health is not an option, you have like everything you want. What would it feel in this moment? What would I be saying? What would I be doing? You could just, and then probably tap into the best option at that point. But I really like the idea of living with this option for a little while, not just in an exercise or in a dream, but continue to grow with it. Be fun.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for really embracing it and seeing the possibilities. And remember what I said about with your dreams. If you start becoming aware of patterns, right, in your dreams, where you keep going into a certain situation or with a certain group of people, or it's a certain time in your life, but most of everything has changed, yet you're still there and you're doing stuff. Just, use your imagination and say, hey, this is a dimension I'm living in right now where this is a reality. And let me see how it plays out in that reality. And maybe what could I contribute to that reality, right? Or what can I take from that reality and bring into this reality that will make this reality richer? It would make my choices better. Whatever the option is. This is part of us expanding into really becoming aware of, comfortable with, and adept at living as a limitless being that is not limited by time, space, and matter, right? When we understand we are multidimensional, eternal, timeless, ageless, limitless beings, when we really accept that, experiences and exercises like this help us really kind of wrap our brain and our minds around this, and really stretches us. But it's incredible supercharging of your imagination and your ability to manifest different creative options for yourself, right? I think one of the biggest and saddest situations are when people feel they're trapped. They're trapped because this is where they're living. This box is where they're living in. And they're surrounded by these people in this box. And that's the only reality they can see for themselves. And if that box, life in that box is hard or tough or depressing, right? Really negative, they feel that that's the only option there is. They're never going to get out of that box. And their despair increases. That's a very, very sad state. Because the reality is there's a door in every box, but only you can open it for yourself. And exercises like this can begin to help us understand we have a limitless number of doors to move into limitless number of rooms of options and opportunities to reinvent myself, right? And I've reinvented myself 100 times at least, just in this life. Right? We have that opportunity to reinvent ourselves based on what version of us is the best version for us to manifest in this place, in time and space. Jocelyn, you have the golden hand. I know you're going to have something good to say.
Well, well, in fact, I want to bring back some of what you said, Michael, when you said that we are, without noticing or being sometimes aware, that we are already being prepared to access this new dimension.
Yes.
And what does that mean? You know, if I look at my life in the 3 last years, I can see a whole series of events that happened that were preparing me to accessing this new dimension. Now, I think everybody has its own rhythm, and I think for me, probably it took like 3 years, but because as you said, in this quantum, everything has to stay in balance for us and for others around us. So the time that it means a preparation is different. However, I think if we really give attention to elements or situation or events that happen in our life related to that goal, we can see that we've been prepared already to get to that point. Now, as you said, it's a matter of choosing. Are we gonna, now that we're prepared, are we gonna move or not? So, but I think that that's an interesting point that you raised tonight. That made me very conscious of why things happened the way they did happen in the last 3 years.
That's awesome. That's exactly what we're talking about here, and wonderful observations. And thanks for sharing that, Jocelyn. And you know, it's so true that who we are and what we are and where we are and why we are right now is a summation of the experiences, choices, and opportunities we've experienced in the past. But they are also the reality we accept right now in this moment. And if we change the reality we accept by exploring other optional realities, and we can really, really connect deeply with those optional realities, so deeply that we can take the parts that work the best and bring them into this reality and then become that other reality, right? Still living in this body and this place and this home and this family and this country and this, right, this time and space, but we have changed the reality by changing what we've accepted as being reality for ourselves, and we manifest those new realities. We take them from out there and we bring them into here, right? That's what we're trying to do here. And I just wanted to give you a little taste of that, some, you know, quick techniques to work with, but this is something you're going to be working with for days and months and years. Now, here's some clues. When I do this, when I make any choice in my life at this point in my life, I'm also, when I'm evaluating the options, I'm always looking at what first, number one, what option is going to bring me the most wisdom, right? When I say wisdom, I mean the most understanding of life on all dimensions, the most unfoldment and growth, right? Not just information, not just knowledge, but real wisdom proven through living. Will this bring me more wisdom? Will this bring me more love? Will it help me access more love? That is the most important currency there is on all dimensions, is love. So will this decision bring more wisdom? Will it bring more love? And will it bring me liberation? Will it bring me freedom from my limitations that have either been forced on me by others or accepted as realities by me? Will this decision help make me free? Free from constraints of time, free from fear, free from being manipulated, free from being trapped in beliefs. Whatever it is, will it bring me wisdom, love, and freedom? Then I look at, will this decision help me bring more wisdom, love, and liberation to others? Because that is my ultimate goal for the rest of this life, Every day in every way, I want to be bringing more wisdom, more love, and more freedom to everyone I encounter. It's been my goal for the last 3 years with you folks. Every day is what I'm doing, helping me bring them more wisdom, love, and freedom, helping bring the people watching this on Facebook, people who will watch this on YouTube, right? People who come to my events, people who have me as their coach. Am I bringing more wisdom, love, and freedom into their life to help them achieve the goals they are striving to achieve to become the person they want to become and have the impact on the world they want to have? Right? And by going and meeting those versions of ourselves that are doing that, we help ourselves recognize and manifest that part of us, that version of us that is incredibly creative and competent, right? And courageous and really, really conscious, awake, aware, right? Loving, giving, compassionate, right? All of these wonderful values and ethics and virtues, right? I look for the choices to make those things realities, to make my best version today, my best version of myself tomorrow, right? Manifest the best I can and have the impact I want to have on myself, my family, and the world. So with that, it's time for me to do my shameless commercial advertisement. For those of you watching, especially those of you on Facebook, you know, there are a lot of things that go on behind the scenes. There are a lot of people I work with, a lot of people who I give learning opportunities to, hire them to do different work for me. And the money from the sale of my programs and products and coaching pays for these opportunities to help these people, and they help me help you. So I have a number of programs. I'm really excited. If this is the first time you're joining in, I'm happy to announce we have launched the Evolved Health Caring Thought Leader Program, evolvedhealthcaring.com. This is for people in the healthcare field who want to fall in love with healthcare again, who want to make changes to get rid of burnout, develop financial opportunities that are 24 hours a day, share their knowledge, their wisdom, their superpowers with the world, and not be limited to how many patients they can see in a day or how many people they can treat in a day. So you want to find out more, evolvedhealthcaring.com. Many of you have taken my Goal Mastery Journal program. New Year's is coming up. That's the time when many people set up their goals, look for who they want to be. How do I achieve the goals I have in 2023? It's not enough to make New Year's resolutions. We need New Year's evolution. And this program helps you evolve into the person you want to be, in the life you want to have, right? And it's been upgraded this year. There are, gosh, I can't even remember. I think there's 13 or 14 videos. There are, there's the journal. It's a 400-page program. It's all online, self-paced. And between now and January 31st of 2023, I've reduced it from $197 to only $97. Okay, I've taken $100 off that program. Go to goalmasteryjournal.com. You'll see the new price. The program is 10 times what it was when we first began. And for those of you who took it and know how valuable it was for you, think about the value you could bring in someone else's life by introducing them to this, or giving it to them for the holidays, or just giving it to them out of love. It's one of the most important things I accomplished in this lifetime, and I'm really proud of it. And I've seen it help, dozens and dozens and dozens of people. And I'd love for it to help thousands of people. So goalmasteryjournal.com, take advantage of $100 off. God, doesn't that sound like an infomercial? But you got to do it. The Your 9 Steps for Goal Achievement Mastery Masterclass and Workbook Program. Many of you went through this. This was an incredible journey through the steps, the tools, the processes, the planning, the energetics, right? The creating congruence, creating incredible opportunities for you to achieve your goals and make the achievement of your goal a service to the world. This evolved into 2 video classes per month. So there's about 20 videos in here. There are about, I think 18 worksheets, question and answers, video of our study buddy group interaction. You also get email contact with me on a daily basis. And I've also cut the price on this from $79 a month back down to $59 a month if you sign up before January 31st. So if you know of someone who could benefit from this, please open their eyes to the opportunity. Don't force them on it, but if you experienced it and it helped you, it'd be a great way to give back, right? For people in your family who are interested in dreams, Ride Your Dreams at ridemydreams.com. That's a course. The Dream Journal portion of the Goal Mastery journaling system was put in here with video tapes. There was a great workshop called Quantum Dreaming that I gave. The video for that is in there. Also, excerpts from my dream learning program, exploring the different types of dreams and how to direct your dreams. Those videos are in this program as well. Great value. And that you can get at ridemydreams.com. And then many of you are working with me on a private coaching basis. I have slots for that. They are filling up. I only have 8 more slots for both regular coaching and VIP coaching for the Evolved Health Caring program, evolvedhealthcaring.com program. So knowledge is important, tools are important, but also a good coach to help you make that knowledge, wisdom, and make those tools work for you. Consider, if you're looking for a coach, consider working with me as a client for my coaching. And MikeDeLucaCoach.com talks about the different coaching programs. So enough of that. It is time to say thank you. I say this and I mean this every single week. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being in my life. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your life. Thank you for sharing these tools and opportunities. I love you all. I'm grateful to know you, to have impacted your life in some small way. Let's work together to impact the world in whatever way we can. For those of you celebrating holidays next weekend or this week, have a wonderful holiday. Enjoy that time with your family. Remember that love is the most important experience, is the most important currency. It's the most important thing we carry with us. There are no U-Hauls behind hearses. The only thing you take is the wisdom, love, and liberation that you have gained and given in this life. So choose wisely. So thank you all. Have a great night, a great week, and I will see you next time. Take care.